My beloved child, this is not a typical moment. Therefore, I had my eyes on you long before you saw this message. It is the exact appointment of heaven. This isn't where you just scrolled. They drew you. Every moment of delay and every diversion that almost prevented you from seeing this was an invisible struggle to keep you from what I am now unleashing. How many angels guard this window of opportunity so that your heart can hear me is beyond you. I waited for you to be prepared to receive what I had concealed for you, not because I needed more time. No eye has seen it, no ear has heard it, but beauty is going to emerge. There will not be a breakthrough. It has already arrived. The first drop of the river that has been suppressed for far too long has been released by your obedience to pause now. This is the response for every time you questioned whether I was still with you. I was waiting, yes, not passively, but with ferocity in my eyes, defending your fate with unwavering resolve. Your silence was not a sign of abandonment. I was watching the heavenly clock as it counted down to this momentous revelation. There is more to this message than just words. It's emotion. Because you made space in your heart for me to move in, I'm changing the atmosphere in your life. I'm not addressing you remotely. I'm nearer than you can imagine, and I've arrived with presence wrapped in splendor. Your super thanks is more than just a gift. It is a declaration that you trust in my provision, and that you will help spread my word to those who are lost and searching. Avoid searching for signs. The sign is me. Holy confirmations include the stirring you experience, the tears that well up, and the unexpected fire in your chest. You've reached a level of purpose that could only be reached by faith. Don't blink now that you're here. Your story's basic foundation will be shaken by what I'm about to do. Beauty is about to emerge from your ashes in a way that will leave those who disregarded you stunned, so stay on your guard. We haven't forgotten you. You have been selected, and the lovely thing I promised in the dark is just getting started. A divine timetable existed that was not governed by worldly timepieces, and your actions have been meticulously planned to coincide with this exact moment. You thought you had missed it. Maybe the window closed or the opportunity passed. But I never sowed that thought. I don't do things slowly. I work according to divine timing. Now is the sacred moment when readiness and destiny meet. You couldn't describe every twist. My hidden navigation system got you here without allowing the enemy to intercept, and every path that seemed excessively lengthy was a part of it. I was keeping the surprise a secret from you. As others hurried forward, attempting to gain momentum of their own, I was creating something in you that would not be broken. You're not going to be late. You are among those who are coming in the guise of obedience, clad in grace, and smelling of the persistence that comes only through waiting. Not to punish you, but to protect the power that would flow out once you arrived at this point, I concealed several doors from you. While I was creating a crown that no one else could wear, you were going blind. Don't lament the period you believed was gone. The future will come back with more glory every second. I stand as a witness that you are finally entering into what was always yours. So the next phase of your journey won't require approval from others, cheers from onlookers, or evidence of validation. I was monitoring hearts, and yours has remained true under strain, while others were watching clocks. Your hope was not teased by my bringing you here. I brought you here to explode it with fulfillment. The enemy would have attempted to destroy whatever you didn't yet know how to defend, so I kept the celebration a secret until now. Your spirit has been trained, though. Your judgment improved. Your tears turned into grease. There's a reason for this hour. It's the end result. The calendar of heaven is proclaiming over you, on schedule, on course, and on target. Don't be hesitant to show up. I'm not merely offering you a chair. I'll give the keys to you. Not to watch, but to open. To rule, not to survive. Your silent suffering and everything you went through weren't in vain. Putting you in this precise position, with nothing broken, nothing missing, and nothing demanding an explanation, was a divine plan. Now that you've entered the rhythm of paradise, the invisible acceleration will start. I'm giving you access to what others have been gaining for years. You stayed when it looked simpler to go, not because you deserved it. I was captivated by that position, which was essentially one of submission. And persistence, not performance, is what I react to. Greetings from the future, where your past cannot follow you. It wasn't missed by you. The heavens opened and you came. You no longer need to wonder. You have already gained the upper hand in the spiritual conflict. Additionally, what was formerly resisted is now liberated. You're experiencing more than simply hope. It's already been decided in your favor. It's the echo of victory. It's not pending. This is happening. Even if you can't see anything now, the invisible has already submitted to my authority. Before you, I sent angels to level mountains that would have crushed you. Voices intended to undermine your faith were taken out of your life by me. Just as I was about to raise you, alignments were shifted, plans were flipped, and unseen chains were broken without your awareness. And this word right now is me revealing just enough for you to see. I haven't remained quiet. I've been calculated. Up until now, each knot was a setup rather than a shutdown. I steered you away from a war that would have postponed your blessing with each door that remained closed. Dates have already been marked on miracles that bear your name. Everything in your life is connected to an unchangeable divine yes and floats in uncertainty. The winds are currently blowing your way because I am the one who controls them. Your seasons are being rewritten as you breathe right now because I am the one who writes them. Allow this to permeate your soul. It is not going to occur. It's already started. My words never come back empty. Now, what I said to you privately will roar in public. You've been feeling a change, and it's real. What heaven has been giving birth to is being given to your spirit. Because of the loosening of the bonds beneath the surface, you could feel the restlessness. Because the refining is complete, you felt the fire. Because the trumpet was being raised, you could feel the quiet. And now it sounds not with noise, but with manifestation. There is no longer any delay, no more circling, no more questioning about when. God's command has outpaced man's timing. The crooked spots have been straightened by me. I revised the conclusion. As you continue to walk by faith, I have already gone before you and placed indicators in your path that will gradually light up. I tell you this even if your hands still appear empty. Assignments, anointing, and answers abound in them. What others have been waiting for is about to be handled by you. The rain is not metaphorical, thus the sky above you is bearing weight. Its provision, harvest, is no longer a concept. Your name is sealed on every part of it as it arrives. Now, don't shrink. Don't search for suffering, you know. It has relocated everything it needed to. I've made the route clear so you can soar, not just walk. This is a significant confirmation. It is the loud proclamation of heaven. They were my choice. They were blessed by me. I brought them, and I'm about to deploy them. I had already leaned in long before you said anything. Before your shaky ideas could even come together to make a phrase, I captured them, and I kept them in the heavenly apartments like holy treasure. You were afraid that I was silent, and that your cries would be lost in thin air. But when you spoke from the depths of pain that no one else could comprehend, every word engraved itself into forever. You didn't require flawless wording. The ink that etched your requests into my file was your capitulation. I didn't ignore your tears at night or write off your quiet cries as insignificant. I carefully tended to all of your pains and sowed your prayers in ground that would soon bear a crop of miracles. In what seemed like quiet, I was letting your roots grow stronger so that when the weight of glory fell, your vow wouldn't crumble. I have not remained motionless. I have remained stable. In order to create a work of art that would inspire faith and silence skepticism in those who witnessed your suffering, I have been creating, aligning, and weaving together invisible threads. Although you felt unnoticed, you were being remembered in the most deliberate, strategic, close-knit, and intimate way possible. I numbered your sighs to keep track of how many triumphs I owed you in return, not to remind you of your sorrow. I recall the prayer you uttered when you were too exhausted to continue standing. You and I were kneeling there. I recall the mumbled, "Help me." I responded before dawn when you were by yourself in the dark. You thought it was too late, so you buried the prayer, and I remember that. With my breath of life, I'm bringing it back to life. Nothing that you prayed for has vanished. It's still there. It's living. It's growing beneath the surface until it bursts into your line of sight at the perfect time. Denial was never my delay. It was perfection, readiness, and protection. What you were too weak to carry, I was keeping in storage. I've strengthened you via the very waiting you attempted to avoid, so now I'm putting it in your hands. I remembered. I didn't lose the command. I didn't put it in the file. I accepted it. I kept it. And now in divine timing, I am opening what has been developing. You are going to see with your own eyes what your soul has been longing for. You are no longer pursuing shadows. In the limelight of fulfillment, you stand. What's happening was a whisper at first, but now it's a roar from heaven. So keep your posture down and your heart open. In my hands, each tear that fell when no one else was around turned into a treasured seed. I witnessed the times you suppressed your tears to seem strong. You lay in the dark for hours, asking questions to the ceiling, wondering if anyone noticed your pain or if it had any impact. I took note and paid attention, and I was constructing a stage that no adversary could destroy, while you struggled with invisible wounds, a place of atonement where his strength would be echoed by your suffering. I rise on your behalf at this hour, in full view of every voice that questioned you, every hand that released you, and every heart that misunderstood you, not in whispers or shadows. I knew there would be no need to explain the unveiling, so I let you cry in private. The tears you buried deep turned into rivers that irrigated the land I'm going to give you. And now there will be astonishment where there were tears. I'm providing you with compensation, not just consolation. Your joy was smothered by the years. Your smile was toughened by the seasons. The loneliness that enveloped your spirit like icy quiet, everything is changing now. It's not because you battled through it. But because you stayed with me when it was easy to get out, you kept your head down, and I watched the world go by you, waiting, serving, and trusting. And now, I exalt your name in retribution rather than resurrection. This is a chance to get applause. It's intentionally exposing. I'm demonstrating to the world what faith looks like when it's put under strain. I am revealing the gold that has been made in the furnace of silence. The ship that kept me afloat during the storm is being illuminated by me. No one missed any of your overlooked efforts, misinterpreted sacrifices, or moments of being judged while still in pain. Now, let me clarify. You won't need to defend yourself anymore. Words cannot express the impact of my favor. My blessings will be too abundant to conceal, and the same people who left will be the ones observing. You are beginning a new chapter in your life where you are not plagued by your past. It pays tribute to you, and your reconstruction will astound people who formerly viewed your brokenness. I haven't urged you to hide behind the embarrassment of your procedure. I have given you the anointing to emerge boldly, brimming with healing. Your name will be carried by what I do now to areas your feet haven't yet been. This is my, not man's, divine compensation. Silently you wept. But in front of all the witnesses I've gathered to watch you shine, I'm responding with unquestionable force. The walls of what once held you back are being broken by a divine acceleration. The hand that was impeding your progress has been removed. Every unseen factor that caused you to slow down, every cycle that made you do things again that ought to have been finished long ago, every roadblock that caused you to wonder whether I still recognized you, all of it is being overthrown right now. You're no longer stuck. What was put on hold is now finished. I've given the order for my time to align with your faith. The tempo is now changing from slow to extraordinary. You don't have to wait for a breakthrough. It's on its way to you already. I was removing delays at their source while you were still unsure if anything would change. You weren't punished for the weight you carried. It was me putting things on hold until something unstoppable would emerge. Time was not lost on you. Every second that was taken from you was being gathered by me, and I'm now paying it back with multiplied results. What others wait years for, you will see in a matter of days. In a few weeks, you will recover from what appeared to be irreparable. It's not luck. Angelic accuracy is being used to carry out a divine directive. I'm making up for the wasted moments. You believed that your waiting was pointless, yet I was giving the blessing layers of meaning, complexity, and fortitude that will keep it going when others break under duress. I contribute completely, not just swiftly, and you will feel back-to-back fulfillment in ways that transcend sense now that I've let go of what was held back. Assume that everything will fall into place naturally. Anticipate solutions to emerge before the issue has a chance to speak. Before you knock, expect heavenly connections to find you. This flow is not typical. The laws of this planet do not apply to this holy velocity. They are bent by it. Mounds that previously refused to acknowledge you will now say yes. Calls will come in that change seasons. Chains will break off without you having to touch them. You remained motionless long enough for me to clear the path, not because you forced your way in. You never had the right to force open paths, but now I am clearing them. Quit apologizing for the speed at which things change. When heaven shifts, this is what occurs. When doors open too quickly, don't be scared to enter. Don't question the blessing because it came so quickly. The process isn't being circumvented. I hid the reward until your character was prepared to bear it, and now you're entering it. This is the time of your celestial birth, through heavenly quickness that responds to years of fidelity with a single sweep of my hand, not through effort or pleading. You stood before seemingly impassable locations, doors that ridiculed your prayers, and doors that closed tightly as though you were not worthy of passing through them. You pleaded until your voice faltered, knocked until your knuckles were bruised, hoped until your heart ached, and nothing changed. However, you were unaware of this. It was never my intention for you to open it on your own. I never urged you to desperately pick the lock of your fate. The door was only open under my power, therefore it wasn't reacting to you. And here, at this hour, I touch what mankind considers to be sealed, and the barrier gives down with a single silent breath from above, with respect for the one who controls all entrances and exits, not with protest or clamor. I'm not going to push it open. It's over, and I'm unleashing it. Not every no you experienced was a denial of your value. It served to protect your access. You were excluded. They were keeping you from going in too soon, from entering unfinished or partially prepared areas. I don't give you doors that are only partially open. I extend complete invites to you, supported by my seal. It's no accident what's opening now. It is a mature kind of heavenly permission. Furthermore, once I open something, it cannot be undone by any voice, system, or authority in the world. The sound of welcome will now reverberate through the walls that formerly hissed, "Not for you." Now, what was protected from you will come to your aid. Your resignation, not your effort, will cause what felt trapped forever to swing wide. Begging at thresholds is no longer necessary. You can now confidently walk through them. This access point isn't arbitrary. It's the realization of a long-held pledge. I'm walking with you through it, not simply allowing you. And there's more than simply potential on the other side. It's occupied. I'm not going to open this door for you to come in. I'm placing you in positions you previously believed were too prestigious for your name to be taken into account. I have transformed you from a door knocker to a key bearer. People will soon be standing in front of you, asking how you got in, and you'll tell them it was a courtesy, not an effort. No one can close me once I open. No one can dispute with me when I allow entry. Your designated crossing is now the area you use to observe people pass by while you waited outside. No more hiding behind glass. No more observing distant dreams come true. You're going where only my might would permit, and everything changes when you take over, not outside of you, but within you. This is about what unlocks within you, not just what opens. I was never rejecting you, as you know. I had timed the unlocking just right for your ascent. It's too late, too hard, too broken, too far gone, are words you've heard from both internal and external voices. By calling your circumstances unchangeable, inaccessible, and unfixable, the enemy attempted to set your boundaries. He hoped you would accept that lie, make the wildness your permanent home, and live in the ruins. However, he overlooked the fact that I specialize in the impossibly difficult. I don't avoid desolate areas. Where death has reigned for too long, I enter them and proclaim life. I don't stay away from broken spaces. I shine a light on what others consider irreparable. Now, I am showcasing my overpowering strength on the same battleground where the adversary mocked your weakness. You are not entering a season that is barely surviving. Rather, You are entering a miracle that was fashioned in the furnace of impossibility. My strength will now be evidently exhibited in the exact spots you concealed in shame because they were too damaged to be saved. I am transforming mockery into insight. Closed chapters are being turned into living testimonials by me. This is a rebirth rather than a repair. The only invitation I need is your faith. You don't need proof of feasibility. I was just setting the stage for a move so spectacular that no one will be able to claim it was created by humans, but you believe the chaos disqualified you. Your breakthrough has all of my fingerprints on it, and I'll be so explicit that even your adversaries will acknowledge that this could only be God. The storm that threatened to swallow you up was only the setting for the brilliance that your story is about to reveal. It will also be more than just a personal victory. It will mark a shift in generations. I call what they termed hopeless sacred. I now refer to what they labeled failure as basic. No one else could claim the credit, so I waited until it seemed impossible. I placed you on the brink of despair, not to desert you, but to make myself most intimately and forever known. You won't simply refer to me as a promise keeper anymore. You'll recognize me as the one who rewrites the conclusion and steps into impossibility. I do more than merely work in the background. I'm going to enter the center of your issue and change everything in a single, magnificent moment. And it won't be quiet when I do. Timelines will change, atmospheres will be shaken, and people will become more curious about the God who creates the impossible bow. There are times when I give out blessings widely. This isn't one of them, though. This outpouring of favor is not arbitrary. It is constructed with your soul's shape in mind and tailored to your tale. This miracle was not misplaced by heaven. It is clearly and irrevocably assigned to you. To get it, you don't need to compete for it, struggle for it, or establish your worth. I was immediately drawn to you because of the unadulterated strength of your fortitude and the unrestrained surrender that came even when everything around you seemed to be illogical. Your journey was predestined to include this discovery before you were ever born. However, it had to grow through solitude, fire, and the very hardships that attempted to shatter you. Every adversity that attempted to remove your name from the promise just strengthened it in my file. You weren't forgotten. You were being taciturn. And what I have prepared will not fall into the wrong hands during this magnificent unveiling. You can't intercept it. There is no way to postpone it further. I've predicted the exact moment of your breakthrough. Additionally, it will produce a distinctly unique sound when it hits Earth. If you hide, it will still find you. If you delay, it will still pursue you. And if you feel unprepared, it will still rest upon you. Borrowed hope is not what is ahead. Finally, a birthright is being granted. This isn't just a blessing that everyone gets. It is intimate, purposeful, and intentional. It recognizes your voice. It has been sent out with the authority of my commitment and acknowledges your spirit. Nobody else can enjoy the results of your hard work. The environment around you is changing to make room for this maneuver. Your environment is being precisely reorganized, not by chance. I'm cutting off all fake options, cutting off all incorrect alignments, and making room for the entirety of what is rightfully yours to be planted, unhindered. Don't think twice about it now. You shouldn't disbelieve it. It is too ordained by God to be overlooked. You weren't punished for the weight you carried. It was evidence that you were selected to carry a burden that others could not. This innovation was postponed in order to manifest in an indisputable form. It won't look like what you anticipated. It will surpass it. You won't need to yell for it to be yours. My glory's radiance lying upon it will bear witness for you. Observe how the things that formerly opposed you now come to greet you. Not only will doors open, they will swing wide at your competitor. Your ascent will now be seen by those who disregarded your calling. Now, circumstances that depleted you will finance your goal. Now that the chapter of indecision is over, the pages of your life are turning rapidly. There is no turning back what has begun. Your name is on what's going down, and nothing will stop it this time. I saw you make the moral decision while no one was cheering. When it looked more convenient to compromise, I witnessed you turn away from shortcuts. You still said yes to me in the silent spots when no one was looking, not for attention, but because you truly loved me. You trusted me despite not knowing when the light would appear, so you walked the concealed road with shaky feet. And because of your silent submission, I'm now entering the scene to expose what I've been holding in reserve. Now, the invisible sacrifices are turning into seeds that will sprout in the open. What I'm releasing is all about posture and has nothing to do with performance. You were positioned with a purpose, whereas others were just acting for attention. You were chasing my presence, and they were chasing platforms. The evenings you laid out your own ideas so I could write mine are memories I will never forget. I can recall all the times you gave a blessing to someone without expecting recognition. Every time it hurt, you gave. When resentment sought to take control of you, you always opted for love. To me, those times were sacred. I am currently giving them life, not in personal darkness, but in bright brightness. I shall not merely express my joy in a whisper, I'll exhibit it. The act of covert obedience will now shine across the metropolitan skyline like the sun in the morning. Now, those who never experienced the cost of your sacrifice will see the honor I bestow upon your life. This isn't done for show. This is proof that I give what men fail to see. You are not required to justify your procedure. Your journey doesn't need to be explained. I'll be the one to unveil. The lifting will be done by me. I'm going to announce it. The tables will seem to be turning in your favor this season, in the interest of divine justice, not retaliation. My calling your name to the front will be seen by those who counted you out. Your seat will be set with honor, and you will enter chambers that previously disregarded you. It will now radiate what was hidden. The quiet will suddenly sing, and the tears that were sowed will now roar with delight. You disobeyed not in order to get plaudits. However, you will inherit something that no critic can dispute. You can no longer conceal the fruit that is growing from the secretly tilled soil. See how I bring you up? I want to show you how faithful I am, not how valuable you are. The benefits extend beyond what you will get. It's in who you've grown into when no one was looking. I now crown that process in front of witnesses I've handpicked to see what I can accomplish with a heart that remained true in the stillness, not behind closed doors. I have seen the exhaustion this last season caused. It wasn't simply fatigue, the kind of fatigue that sought to make you feel as though hope itself was too heavy. Despite your best efforts, the earth remained hard. Even though there was more silence than support, you persisted. You looked for strength in areas that used to give you energy, but all you found was more emptiness. Now, listen to me. What appeared to be a time of mourning turned out to be a sacred barrel. I speak of my seeds, not your dreams. There had been promise in the dirt that absorbed your tears. Your suffering was never wasted by me. I planted it. What you believed to be the end of something was the beginning of a deeper root system developing beneath the surface. It wasn't the drought that destroyed you. It made you stronger. There was no death in the drought. Preparation was required. You didn't act frightened. You were being positioned. Others moved swiftly on shallow ground, but I was securing you in places where storms couldn't go. Now that same tired soil is on the verge of rupturing. What was invisible during the crushing will now rise with strength and intent. Every exhausted breath, sluggish step, every affirmative response you gave through tears helped to create something timeless. It's not just a breakthrough I'm offering you. I am bringing you back to life. The exact thing you originally thought would be your downfall will really be the source of your testimony's growth. The thing that attempted to drain you will now proclaim that I am faithful. Now, the sound of plenty will reverberate through what appeared to be emptiness. When people inquire as to how it occurred, you will point to the spot they believe to be cursed and respond, "Right there. It was there that he met me." I'm not ignoring your wilderness. I am changing it. The meaning must be redeemed, not the memory erased. The suffering you went through is now the soil in which splendor grows, not just for you, but also for other people going through a similar night. Your scars will be markers of my mercy. Your narrative will be bold rather than resentful. There is no going back to the way things were. This is developing into something quite else. Don't let the previous season break you. The earth was ready for harvest, so it's prepared. The ground is breaking up. The roots have remained strong. The fruit is growing. The testimony will also be indisputable, not because things were simple, but because you stayed when it made sense to go. It felt forgotten, yet now I breathe on it, and beauty will emerge unapologetic from the depths of your fatigue. They closed the book after considering your case. Your story was marked as finished because it didn't meet their standards for success. Unwritten conclusions, haughty judgments, opinions masquerading as prophecies, and rumors that you had reached your breaking point were all used to mark your trip. However, I am not subject to human punctuation. In place of periods, I'm adding commas. I'm releasing a brand new volume that nobody anticipated, where they announce the last chapter. I don't alter lives according to popularity. I repair them in accordance with my mission. What they perceived as failure, I now use as a starting point. Broken tales are not something I dismiss. I purify them till their glory shines through. You are not what they think you are. The fulfillment of my pledge is you. I listened to everything they said after they believed you were done. I witnessed their pitying expressions, their phony worries, and their subtle disengagement from you when things did not go their way. Right before I started my best job, I saw them leave you. And now, as the writer and the finisher, I stand, not to debate, not to clarify, but to make public what I alone could write. I'm removing shame from your plot. Old scripts that are rife with smallness, compromise, and fear are being burned. I am pulling out tear-soaked pages and replacing them with triumphant pronouncements. You will be shocked by what I am about to do. The glory of what only heaven could restore will replace the negative connotations of your name. Additionally, I raise rather than merely fix when I write. I transform what should have been a place of grieving into a monument. I take the chapters you tried to ignore and add unimaginable wonders to them. This represents a resurrection rather than a correction. No one is editing you to survive. For legacy, You are being rewritten. I don't reuse what has been done. Its mission is revived by me. And now, everyone who didn't believe you will see a story so full of positive information. My pen was behind every line, and they won't be able to dispute that. You are not required to make a plea. Your life will serve as the proof, I promise. There's no need to dispute your value. I'm showing it off like the sun after a storm. They are tearing down the ending they expected. Don't go in the direction of failure. As you enter this glorious rite, my splendor will permeate every page. Then raise your head. I am still writing, and the last word is mine. There have been times when the darkness has engulfed you so completely that you have forgotten what light is. Sometimes the quiet cried out more loudly than any consolation. You had the impression that the ground underneath you would never be stable again. You doubted everything, including my closeness, your direction, and your purpose. The enemy hoped you would never notice, but you failed to understand that I was setting the stage for the biggest change in your life at the exact moment you felt most alone. Not all of my labor is done in the sun. In the dark, I give birth. As you mourned what was crumbling, I was tending to what would emerge from those same ashes. I didn't wait for you to gain strength. I was sowing the seed of your upcoming season deep in the ground of your submission. It did not appear to be progress. Nothing felt like a breakthrough. However, each cry, shudder, every instant of panting fatigue turned into water for what I had silently started. You believed you had been laid to rest, but I was protecting the roots. You took the silence to mean that nothing was happening, but I was planning meetings, gatherings, and spiritual changes that are now coming together to create a blossom that no storm can destroy. The agony that rendered you unable to speak was never over. There was a silence. You were blind at the time, but the roots were firmly grasping you as I rewrote the rhythm of your mission. Now, the ground that attempted to engulf you is shaking. From resurrection rather than condemnation, everything that I sowed during your tears is beginning to sprout. You won't need to push it. The proof will grow right before your eyes. And the aroma of what emerges will bear the perfume of my hand, my timing, and my pity. This isn't a display miracle. It's a warning to anyone who believes that the darkness indicates that I have been silent. I make use of the night to get the dawn ready. I prepare the promise with the suffering. And by your very perseverance, my darling, you are going to enter a garden. You had no idea how much was growing in the silence. I'm taking the veil off now, though. But when love dies, it will yell with color. It will shine with redemption where it formerly felt cursed. You will discover, as you trace each petal of this flower back to that time, that the hour you believed to be your lowest was actually the moment heaven whispered. When it seemed like everything was slipping through your fingers, let's start. When chances diminished, relationships disappeared, and your dreams fell apart, you believed you had failed. You wondered whether you missed something important or went in the wrong direction, and you doubted your judgment, timing, and value. But I want you to see things from my perspective today. What you referred to as losing was actually me diving into a position, not that you fell behind. To acquire momentum, you were pulled backward. Similarly, an arrow must be pulled before it may fly. I consented to the strain, the tension, and the silence, because you wouldn't merely take a step as your following move. A launch, that is. I wasn't trying to punish you. You were going to reach a height for which I was conserving your strength. Every closed door, broken connection, and halted dream was, in fact, a component of the launch sequence. You couldn't stay where you didn't belong, and I couldn't allow you. You couldn't construct where I was demolishing. You couldn't pour into dry wells. I couldn't. You weren't defeated. No, I got in the way before the bad thing could take hold. The failures weren't defeats. They served as heavenly pullbacks, ready to let you enter areas you never would have thought to enter. I've been planning a course for you that would take a supernatural wind rather than human effort. That's why you had to let go of the things you used to rely on. I wanted you to fly, not falter. I wanted you to be free, not bound up. In order to put what would blossom in your hands, I needed your hands to be free of what was disappearing. It's time. Now that the strain has increased, that you've learned to trust me when it seemed like everything was crumbling, and that your heart has been molded to contain more than just survival, I'm letting you go into a velocity of purpose where the things that once held you back will now watch you go. You are rising because of the force behind the pull, not the strength of your wings. And you'll realize nothing was lost when you get to the location I've been pointing you in. All of it was kept in storage. Not a single thing was wasted. All of it was woven. Nothing was stolen. All of it was exchanged for an eternal good. Ahead of the launch, prepare. You're not going down, you are in the air. More than they anticipated and more quickly than you had imagined. The pain in your chest was something I never ignored. When the world slept, you were awakened by the silent storms. Were they the unseen burden that weighed down even breathing? I witnessed you bearing scars no one ever recognizes. You were too scared to ask the questions out loud, but I heard them. Why must it have been so painful? How come I let the tears run so deep? Why didn't I stop the thing that was hurting you? Now pay close attention. I spared not a drop of your suffering. This planet is in dire need of a message, and I was developing it. Others are discovering things at the same spot where your soul was pierced. Now, the same fire that attempted to devour you has honed your voice, and I'm using your suffering to gain power. You're not going to talk theoretically. You will talk with knowledge gained from being around me. My oil is flowing through the fissures in your heart. They are anointing your scars with calling and clarity. There was always a purpose to this misery. The prophecy was accurate. In order to expand your reach, I allowed it to grow deeper. What others were too numb to notice, I allowed you to feel. Therefore, when you speak, burdens are lifted and bonds are broken. Your testimony serves as a gateway, not only a narrative. Now you will educate people to trust me. What formerly plagued. The depth of your grief has made room for a healing mantle to cover you. I won't give you a position. Intimacy is the foundation of the ministry I'm providing you. Instead of speaking from ego, you will speak from experience. Your hands are imprinted with the strength to rescue others from the depths of despair you once experienced, not with shame. This season has crowned you after crushing you, not with pride, but with strength, with substance, not with prestige. And the weight that your trip now carries will make the world unable to look away, not because you are charismatic. I have infused your words with fire, your tone with grace, and your glance with truth. The mood will change as you enter different rooms, not because you were never broken, but rather because I was able to rebuild you in a better way than before. Observe how what previously attempted to quiet you now uses you to magnify the sound of heaven. Observe how people who made fun of your tears eventually return in need of the oil they produced. I am commissioning you because of who you have become, not because of your suffering. From this time on, your grief will fulfill an unchangeable prophetic function. When you talk, even the stillness will pay attention. Sometimes you stood on the brink of something you really desired, only to be told no in a way that was painful and firm. When you knocked on doors in the shaky hope that they would open, you either saw them close in your face or heard silence. You put your heart out there to people and plans that looked good, yet you ended up bewildered and without anything. Additionally, you always questioned whether I had missed your desire, if you had done anything wrong, or if you were insufficient. But now I want you to know this: all the denials were intentional. I put up walls around every missed chance to keep you safe from diversions that may have led you astray, not to punish you. God sifted those instances so you didn't fail. Partnerships you believed would endure. Those were the jobs you wanted. The routes you believed to be correct were never intended to fulfill your aim. Had I allowed you to enter those unfulfilled promises, they would have taken away your power, extinguished your passion, and warped your purpose. I didn't say no because you weren't worthy. Because you are too significant to settle, I was saying no. It was not a rejection. Before time entered your life, I had manufactured the one yes, and it was a redirection to it. And now you're closer than you may realize to the yes cracking. It won't be like what you've experienced. It will be greater than it. It will come filled with serenity, wrapped in clarity, and bearing the burden you've been ready to bear. Additionally, you won't need to push it when it happens. It'll fit. It'll feel natural, not because it's easy, but because it's in line with the essence of who I created you to be. If you feel that Jesus Christ has brought light and hope into your life, then come join us on this sacred journey. Subscribe to the channel and experience His love, peace, and blessings every day. In Jesus' name, amen.